Hi, welcome to Phantastic Feast. I'm your host, Phan. Now, if you look at the ingredients that I have on the table, some of you who are Vietnamese will probably be able to guess what it is that I'm making today. And if you can tell by the pineapple, the tomatoes, and the bạc hà, and some of the bean sprouts, it's lẩu CANH CHUA. And so that is a Vietnamese hot and sweet and sour soup that is something that I grew up with. And I like to do it in a hot pot style only because I don't like mushy vegetables, because when you cook and do this type of soup and you put all the veggies in, obviously it cooks. But for me personally, I like the vegetables to be a little crunchy, so that's how I like to serve it. And it's an interactive way for you and your guests to enjoy a nice dinner and, you know, put in the vegetables that you like and have the soup nice and hot as you eat it. I'll also be making gà kho tàu, which is caramelized braised catfish, and that goes together like peanut butter and jelly for this type of dish. So I'll show you how to make the soup broth first, because it's super simple. All you really need to do is get that broth going, and the rest is just cutting and assembling, and it's all about presentation, really. So while we're waiting for the pot of water to boil, I'll start chopping all the vegetables and so forth to get ready for it. So these two herbs right here are kind of just condiments for the end, and it just kind of finishes the soup. So you want to julienne these and cut it really thin. So I'll start with the cilantro or the ngò gai, and basically you want to chop off the ends here. I'll eat that. And then you want to just julienne it. And now we'll move on to our rice patty, or our patty herb. We'll do the same at the end. Okay. It smells so good. This is a really neat vegetable, I think. I actually only know how to use this in this specific dish, but this is also one other ingredient in here that if you don't have it, it's not quite CANH CHUA. I mean, it can be, but with it, it just adds a nice texture. So you can see it's kind of porous here, and it just soaks up the soup really well. But the way that you cut this is you want to peel this here and peel off the skin like that. Comes off fairly easy. This guy, because he's so big, I'll cut him in half. And then what you want to do is cut it at a diagonal. So. And now we'll cut the celery. I have celery hearts here, but you can use the whole celery. Basically, peel these off. Give these a quick rinse at a diagonal. Tomatoes. I like to use Roma tomatoes because they are a good size. You only need to cut them into ⅕. And bean sprouts I washed already. I'll show you. You just want to add it to the plate. What we'll do now is I'll cut the pineapple. Now, fresh pineapple, I am going to say that fresh pineapple does make a difference. I prefer it over the canned ones because those are already in syrup and really sweet, but the texture of this is really bright and fresh when you can do the fresh one. Versus canned. But if you must, you can do the canned, but in this instance I'm going to say that go for the fresh pineapple. And how to cut a pineapple is not hard, but it takes a little bit of time. I'll show you how My mom taught me how to do it. So you're gonna cut off the crown, and then you cut off the bottom. And I would suggest a sharp knife. And then from there, you'll start chopping. And you want to cut it so you can still see the eyes of the pineapple. So that means you didn't take too much of it off. Skin. Okay, so you see all these eyes. This is the bottom of the pineapple, and this is the top. And so what you do is you will start here and you will make a cut like so. And then you do this and follow the line. So basically you go around and you cut off these eyes, but only the eyes. And this is how you cut it from here. It's almost too pretty to cut, but to cut in half. This. And then cut it like that. Okay, so I do not keep the core of it because it's too fibrous. I cut it out and I actually save it for juicing so that nothing or no part of the pineapple is wasted. So I'll start cutting it into wedges like this. Like I'll cut 3 and then this becomes the core and I take this out. This is the core that I don't use for this because it's no fun to munch on that and you can't really chew on it. So from these I cut them in half and then I cut little pieces like this. Okay, that should be plenty. Okay, let me put this away and clean up a little bit, and then we only have our chilies and our garlic to chop up, and then we should be ready, and I'll show you how to make the soup broth, and then from there we will be ready for our hot pot. So now all we have left to do is smash the garlic and then cut the chilies. Now the chilies, I find it's easier obviously to use a scissor because then you won't get the hotness on your hands. And if you can't handle spice, obviously you can omit this, but I really like the contrast of how sweet, sour, and spicy the soup is. I guess you could say that this is akin to a Vietnamese version of Thailand's Tom Yum soup, but obviously very different. But the flavors are, it's very strong. It's sweet, it's sour, and it can be spicy too. And you can add this and adjust it to how much you can handle. And then the garlic. I would say that this, I don't know if everybody does this to their soup, but I saw my aunt do it and I loved the addition of it. What she did was she smashed the garlic and then she fried it so that it was kind of golden brown, and then she added it at the end. And something about the burnt garlic, it's not even burnt, but just like the cooked garlic into the soup, it just adds another element to the soup. So I'm all about, you know, flavor and all that. So basically it's just smash it. And this kind of just releases the flavor. I think every savory dish that I've made has included garlic. And so you could tell I love garlic. So now that our water is boiling, we'll start adding the stuff. Right here I have 3 tablespoons of mushroom seasoning. I don't like to use MSG in my cooking, so this is an alternative and I think it flavors it nicely. With that, I'll add the fish as well. And like I said, if you want to do a vegetarian option, you don't have to add the fish bones. This just gives it more umami flavor. To this, I also add 1 package of the tamarind soup mix. That's where your sour will come in. Then I also have tamarind seed that is wet. Do about one tablespoon of that. To this I also add 1 cup of sugar. Sounds like a lot, but it's a big pot of soup, and this is this contrast between the sweet and the sour. So once you let the oil heat up, I'm gonna toss in the garlic. So that it looks like this. It's when it's super fragrant. I don't add the oil, I just add the garlic. Okay. Let's see where. It's really good. I will also add to this a tablespoon of fish sauce. Perfect. What I'll show you now is how to set it up, the hot pot station, or how to eat this, because we'll have the soup base here, and then we'll set up the table with the portable grill, and then all our veggies, and then we can start eating once we make our gakkoto.